This video is obviously sponsored by Resione. Unlike most YouTubers, I don't have a plan, I just freeball it and see where it goes. I got this resin in from Resione, they sent it over for me to test out, and I ended up printing the biggest thing I could find. I guess there's no better way to test a resin than to max out your printer's volume and see where it goes. I printed this on my Ebook Saturn. I don't have a new printer, I just have the Saturn I've been using for the last like 3 years. And you can see with this Saturn, this print's gonna take about 9 hours to finish. I know some new printers have better times, but this is just what I got, so I'm working with it. Everything printed out just fine. This resin is crazy. It actually has the same properties as standard resin, but it's really tough. I do have some pieces that failed, but that was because I didn't put supports in those areas. Also had some like weird thing happen where there was like a layer of resin left over. You can see on the gas tank right there. I personally never had that happen, so it was kind of weird. I had to wash this stuff a bunch of times just to get it off. I even had to get a toothbrush out just to get it clean. Still, it left residue. I'll say mess with your settings, play with your settings and exposure time just to get the right balance. So the first plate had the front tire, the gas tank, and the whole middle section of the bike. The back half had the back tire, the handlebars, and the exhaust. One thing I noticed as soon as I took this stuff off the build plate, just taking the supports off, this stuff is really strong. This Tough 74 is totally different than anything I've ever used before. Thin stuff will still break if put under enough pressure, but this, it won't break. Like you see me, I'm flexing it, I'm trying to bend it, it's just not budging. For comparison's sake, I do have something to match a cylinder, and you see the gray stuff just snaps, and this Tough 74 does not do that. I'm wrenching on this, I'm not like taking it easier, none of that, and this is just regular settings. The settings can be found on the bottle. The main thing you're going to want to do is up your lift speed to about 9 or 10 and up your exposure to about 55 through 70. I did end up printing some heads in this stuff too, and it prints really good. I like it. Ease of use is always a factor when these resins come out, and this one's pretty easy to use. The settings being on the bottle helps a lot too, and of course it depends on your machine, but it's really easy to use. It took about 15 hours. I printed it in scale with the Higher Toys Judge Dredd. Probably should be a little bit bigger, but if you've never tried to print in 1/12 scale, the stuff is a lot bigger than you expect. So I just roughly scaled it out, and I think it's okay. I could have did better with the scaling. I was really just trying to test the resin. I think for the size of the Higher Toys Judge Dredd, he's a little bit small, but I think he looks pretty damn good on this bike. I get everything glued together. This is just a dry fit just to see how everything would scale. But once I get everything glued together, I'm pretty sure that's a decent looking bike. This tough resin is great for something like this, I think, because it even has thin parts. Like you see, that's super thin. With regular standard resin, this would have broke off by now. But with this resin, it's pretty strong. This one's warped because it was like laying on its side for too long. But it doesn't break, which is what you want. Resione actually sent me 2 bottles of this. They sent me the black and the gray. I think I'm gonna print something else in the gray. I'm not too sure. Just my makeshift way that I'm putting this together. Because this whole bike was in like 6, 8 pieces, I think. And these were separate, but I didn't want to print all of that. Like I didn't want to take 20 hours to print it. So I just combined all of this in one piece. And I had to cut off, there was a piece that slid under this gas tank. I had to cut it off, drill a hole, and now it just stays together. So if you're in the market for a really tough resin, check out Resione. They do a really good job. Thank you for sending this over. This is my Judge Dredd LAWMASTER. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.